Hello, my name is Cherise, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Sharing My World. I am really super excited about this video because it's the Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer, and I am going to be sharing my Memorial Day tradition of eating crabs. I absolutely love crabs. I think they are the best tasting food in the entire world. Now, I'm born and raised in Baltimore, so what can you expect? Anyway, in today's video, I'm going to teach you everything you would possibly want to know about blue crabs. How to buy crabs, how to pick crabs, how to steam crabs, how to crack crabs. I'm even going to teach you how to use a crab mallet. And my entire family is here with me, and they are going to be joining in on the fun. So stay tuned, and we're going to get to crab cracking in just a few seconds. So this is a Maryland blue crab. It is a live crab, and it's not moving a lot because I've had it on ice for a little bit, and that's somewhat paralyzed it. This is the back of the crab, and this is a male crab because of the apron here, the narrow apron. I'm not sure if that shows up well with the lighting, but this indicates that it is a male crab because it has a very narrow apron on the back. The females have a wider apron. This is supposed to be a large crab, but I think I got gypped because a large crab is supposed to be 5.5 to 6 inches from tip to tip, and this doesn't look quite, 5.5 or 6 inches to me. I am now ready to steam my crabs, and I'm going to be steaming them in this turkey roaster. And for those of you who cook crabs on a regular basis, you're probably saying, what the heck? You're using a turkey roaster to steam crabs? That's just insane. But I have a good reason that I'm using a turkey roaster. Number one, we normally steam our crabs outside, and we use a big stock pot or a large crab steamer and a propane tank. But we are cooking the crabs indoors today, and I'm afraid that my two eyes here are too small, and they're not going to generate enough heat to cook the crabs evenly or to cook them fast. So if I use this turkey roaster, I can put it over 2 flames. So I'll have 2 flames going at one time. I can spread the crabs out. That way they'll cook evenly, and they should cook fast. So I cook crabs in beer. Some people use water, some people use apple cider vinegar, but I think crabs have the best taste when you cook them in beer. So for a pot this size, I usually use about 1 can of beer. I have a rack in the bottom of the pan, and the beer is below the rack, and that's very important because you don't want your crabs sitting in the liquid that you're steaming them in, whatever the liquid is. You want to make sure that the crabs are above the liquid. The crabs should be steamed and not boiled. So we're putting the crabs in the steamer, and we're putting them in top side up. And we're just going to layer them in the pan. And some of these are waking up and they're becoming somewhat active. So if you're using live crabs, then be careful and make sure that they don't snip your fingers. So for the seasoning, I normally buy the seasoning from my local seafood store. In fact, I got this seasoning from the same place that I purchased the crabs. It's basically a mixture of Old Bay seasoning and rock salt. but I like to add garlic salt to it. So I'm going to add a little garlic powder here, and then I'm going to shake it all up. And then you can see now it looks like this. So now we're going to sprinkle the seasoning over the first layer of crabs. And we're just going to sprinkle it. And my cameraman can come in a little closer if he wants to get a close-up of the seasoning. So that's pretty good about right there. You just want to make sure that all the crabs are covered with the seasoning. So now I am putting a second layer of the crabs in. And then once I get this layer in, I will put some more of the seasoning on this layer. And they are becoming pretty lively now. They're starting to snip around a little bit. I have my second layer on, and I am putting on the seasoning for the second layer. And that's pretty good right there. And now I'm going to put another layer on, as many as I can actually, that will fit in this pot. This is 3 dozen crabs, and most of the time I can fit 3 dozen in, but I don't know, we'll see. Doesn't look like they're all going to fit this time. I might be able to get one more on. I think that's pretty good. And now I'll put seasoning on this layer. I want to make sure that all of the crabs have seasoning on them. Okay, and we are now ready. Put the top on. Make sure all the legs are in. So I'm going to turn both of the burners on. And I'm going to have them on high. And we're going to let this cook until the crabs turn a very bright orange. And it'll be about 15 to 20 minutes.
Eating crabs is not about having a meal. Eating crabs is a social event. And anyone who grew up in Baltimore or near the Chesapeake Bay would definitely agree. And while we're preparing for our fun ahead, we are covering the table with newspaper, gathering the mallets, and pulling the brewskis out of the cooler while we're waiting for the crabs to finish steaming. These don't look like they're quite ready yet. So while we're still waiting, it seems like the perfect time for a shot.
1, 2, 3.
Cheers!
So the crabs are already, as you can see, they are a bright orange. So I'm just going to transfer them out of the steamer, quote, turkey roaster, into our crab tray. And then the table is all set, and we are ready to eat some crabs. So before I join my family at the table, I'm going to show you how to actually pick and eat this crab. We are starting with a freshly cooked crab, and it's still kind of warm, so I'm going to be careful. I'm just showing you the front and the back. And we're going to start by first pulling off the legs. And it's very easy. You just pull them, separate them from the shell, And this is meat, so you should eat this as soon as you pick it. I'm not going to take time to eat while I'm doing the tutorial, but if I wasn't, this would be in my mouth. So there are 3 more legs on this side, and most of the time you can get them all off together. There's meat there as well, so go ahead and eat that. We'll take the large leg off of the back. Meat there, very tasty. Eat it. And these other 3 here, pull them out. They've got a little bit of meat on those as well. And we're just going to put those off to the side. These are the claws, and these are going to come off next. Same thing, just pull them and separate them from the shell, and if you get some meat, eat it. It's delicious. The last claw, more meat. So next, the apron. We talked about this earlier in the video. Now we're going to take the apron off. Most of the time you could just use your fingernail and get under there and then just pull it off. And if you can't get your fingernail under there, you can use a knife. So you can see there's a little separation there. So just put your thumb in that little part and then use your other thumb and gently pull the shell off. All right. So this leaves the crab exposed, and you see sort of all this yucky stuff, and we're going to get rid of all of that. This is considered the dead man here, so we're going to pull all of this off. I never knew why they called it the dead man. I still don't know, but anyway, we don't eat that. We discard it. We're just going to pull it all off. Okay, and now this crab actually doesn't have a lot of what's called mustard. When I was pulling the shell off, this did come out, this yellow, greenish consistency. We call it mustard, and it's actually very tasty. Some people don't eat it. I like the mustard, and I eat it. So if you get a crab that has a lot of mustard in it, don't be grossed out by it. Definitely taste some. I'm sure you're going to like it. So now we are going to break what's left of the crab in half. So we're just going to bend it forward and backwards and separate the 2 sides. Some meat came out there, and of course you would eat that. And now we're going to squeeze these halves and then break the veins on the inside and then break it in half. And then that exposes all of the meat that's inside of the veins. So you can use your fingers and then just pull that meat out. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. I'm ready to eat. And then there's more meat over here that you can just pull out. A little bit over here. And if you're having a hard time getting the meat out from in between the veins, you can also use a knife. So you can just use your knife and go in between and get the meat out that way. I don't think that works as well for me. I usually just use my fingers, and I'm a lot faster when I'm using my fingers. So we will go through all of these veins and pull all of the meat out. And you want to make sure that you don't leave any meat on the inside of the vein. Nothing is more irritating to watch than someone picking crabs and then you look at their shells and there's still a whole bunch of crabs left. So, well, a bunch of crab meat left, rather. So make sure you get all of the meat out of the veins before you discard of the veins. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing on the second half. Break it apart and then pull the meat from out of the shells. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I can't wait to get over to the table with my family. They better have some crabs left for me. I'm going to be pretty upset because they eat pretty fast. Not as fast as I do, though. All right. So I have most of this out of there. All right, so now we have all of this crab meat here, along with the mustard I was telling you about, and that is just so delicious. Now we are going to tackle the shells. First, I'm going to pull this little bit of meat off here, and we're going to take the claws apart at the joint section. So we just pull, and there comes some of the meat. And you can use a mallet to crack it open to see if there's any more meat left. And this one there is. So we will just pull that out. And now we're going to separate this section from the claw. And there's meat there, which is very tasty. And you would use your mallet for the other part. And now you can use your knife to go in and get the rest of the meat out. So here we have it. This is all of the meat from this crab, and it looks absolutely delicious. Some people dip their crab meat in like a vinegar sauce or a butter sauce or like an Old Bay sauce. I don't do any of that. I just like just the crab. So here you have it. Delicious Maryland blue crab meat. And now I'm going to go join my family.
I think it's on something. Yeah.
So you can't have crabs without beer. So I have my Stella here, and Romaine has his, what are you drinking? Michelob Ultra. And I don't know what the girls are drinking. But in addition to our crabs, we have chicken wings and some fries over there. And we are just going to chow down.
It's not like we were saying it was I mean, you were. Yeah, it does. I think one word I used
Thank you so much for watching and sharing my holiday crab eating tradition with me and my family. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and please share these videos with other people who you think may also find them interesting. Also, click the notification button, and that way you'll be notified every time I post a new video. So thanks again for watching. Take care, and until next time, bye.